causes rising is something that's probably unnatural. And so this is the reason why they ate unleavened bread. This is the reason why they did no choice meats. You know, they separated everything that would be considered to be of delicacy at that time. And so this is the reason why we hear when it says about unleavened bread, we can't eat bread with yeast. So that's why you can't eat bread on the Daniel's fast. Also too, and it says right here, unleavened bread the first day, seventh day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. So he was saying if you ate this bread at this particular time, that you will be cut off from Israel. Verse 16, it says, for on the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and on the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation for you. No manner of work shall be done on them, but that which everyone must eat, the only may be prepared by you. And so it says, so you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for on this day I will have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. So God was telling him to observe these days because this is where he was going to bring a great deliverance. He was going to show forth his power in the land of Egypt, and people would be able to see who the actual God is, because he was going to bring to naught all the gods that the Egyptians had served. And you know, and that was his purpose for doing this. So when he brings the people of God out of this was an ordinance that they had to observe in the beginning of the year. So now when you go back and tie this, so hold that in thought, because this is the origin of it. Now you skip over to Daniel. So it says right here, so in Daniel 1:8, it says, so as many cite the example of Daniel 1:8. It says, however, in this verse, Daniel did not want to eat the king's delicacies because it would have included food that was forbidden by the Mosaic law, which is in Leviticus 11. It says to eat it would be defiling his body. It says another reason would have been because the king's meat had been probably dedicated to false Babylonian idols, as was their practice. It says Daniel believed to do so would have been to acknowledge their idols as deities against God's commandments. So we know that the purpose of Daniel's fast was to cleanse himself of the things that were in the king's house. And so this is the reason why he did eat those meats that were of the king's house, and he kept to the diet that was prescribed to him through the Mosaic law. And so this is the reason why he kept himself from those things. He ate mainly vegetables, fruits, and nuts and things like that. And so these are the things that they were tied to, and it's also in a connection with making sure that you draw close to God. I can tell you this, that many things that we observe in our Western, way of living, is completely, I would say, different than what they did in the days of, Christ walking the earth and different things like that. So this is one of the things that we observe that they did back then. So this kind of keeps you in connection with what God was telling you to keep the ordinance. Now, we know that the Bible talks about doing away with the new moons and the Sabbaths and the feasts and things like that. But, I believe in a sense of bringing in a new year, you're cleansing yourself and bringing yourself and ushering yourself into a new time frame that would, you would want to keep yourself consecrated to start the new year out right. And so this is the reason why they observe what they call the Daniel's fast. And I couldn't tell you who actually started calling it the Daniel's fast, but I can tell you where it came from. So let's go over to, and this is something you can do your own research on. It's something that I try and figure out, where in the world did all this stuff come from? Where did it start? And I could tell you one of the words that it comes from, and it starts from the Roman Catholic. Though the people of God were told to observe this in ordinance from the book of Exodus, exiting out of Egypt, the Roman Catholic put in a twist to it. We have Easter and all these different things that are observed. We call Palm Sunday. We have all these different names that we have heard. Good Friday. We've heard these different terminologies, and what it ties into is what they call Lent. And if you do a research on Lent, it says it's a solemn religious observance of the Christian literature calendar that begins with Ash Wednesday and ends approximately 6 weeks later before Easter Sunday. And we know if we go back and really start digging into some of our stuff, we know that our calendar is was made by Gregory the 13th. So we have a Gregorian, what they call a calendar that has 365 days, but it was a Julius calendar that they took and combined to add the leap years. So really, if you go and you look up the Jewish calendar, it starts in February. So it's kind of like we're kind of, you know, with the adding of the days and stuff like that, it added some extra days into it. So we're with the Gregorian one. But if you go and you look this up, so this all has everything to do with Easter.